The COVID crisis, of course, also eating away at the country's economic health. A short time ago, I spoke to White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain about what's holding up the president's COVID relief package and about speeding up vaccinations. So, Mr. Klain, Americans are hurting right now. It appears to be you're of two minds there at the White House. One is to get this money flowing to folks, but also to do it with Republican support or a compromise. How you doing?
Well, I think we're making progress pretty quickly, Lester. I mean, we've just been here 2 weeks. The House has already passed the basic framework for the American Rescue Plan. The Senate is supposed to pass it by the end of the week.
Let's talk about numbers. The president seems married to this idea of $1,400 direct payments to Americans that qualify. But is he of a mind to compromise on those who might qualify?
I think, Lester, a question's been raised about whether or not these checks should go to people who make $200,000, $300,000. I think if Congress has ideas on how to focus this to make sure that working people, middle-class people in this country get these checks, we're fine with that idea. What we're not going to do is leave out large swaths of the middle class, and we're certainly not going to compromise and reduce the amount of these checks.
If we can turn now to vaccines, there's been a bit of a moving goalpost on this idea of when every American who wants a shot can get a shot. The president seemed to suggest the spring and then maybe the summer. What's your target? What is it looking like right now?
Well, you know, the target that we have set, Lester, is 100 million shots in 100 days to get this country on that path towards getting everyone a shot. We're trying to ramp up vaccine production and vaccine distribution. We'll have more to say about the targets that come after.
But that 100 million in 100 days, that was the primary goal. There was a lot of pushback on that it wasn't ambitious enough. Are you thinking bigger right now in terms of how many people you should and can get vaccinated in the very near future?
Look, our goal, Lester, is to vaccinate as many people as we can, as quickly as we can. And I will say, the 100 million shots in 100 days is an ambitious goal. The Trump administration hit 1 million shots a day, 1 day out of 40. So being able to do it 100 days in a row is going to take a lot of work. We just opened our first 2 federal vaccination centers in California this week. We're on our way to 100 of them by the end of this month. We are, for the first time ever, next week, sending vaccine directly from the federal government to pharmacies, 6,000 pharmacies around the country.
Tell me where you are on discussions to perhaps send masks to every American. Is that happening, or can you tell us, where the discussions are on that?
Yeah, Lester, this was an idea that really came up last year in the Trump administration. The public health agencies recommended it. President Trump vetoed it for some reason. We want to get this back on track. I hope in the next few days or next week, we may be able to announce some progress on this.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.